before that, before I proceed into something else, I have just left, yes, I have just left a link on the chat right now, my latest message. For those who have just joined in, please make sure you are filling up the attendance form. It's really important for us. After session, please share the PPT. Raman, I'll be honest to say, um, my PPT has nothing much but 5 to 6 points, or maybe 3 to 4 points on a slide. Rather, I am your presentation. So I am the presentation. My presentation is in here. I'm going to share the PPT somehow with you, but yes, you'll have the recording on YouTube. You can always revisit the session. So we put all the recording of such master classes onto our YouTube channel. So please do not forget to follow the YouTube channels and Instagram handles of us on social media, so that you can easily keep accessing those videos. Very fine quality is available for you to watch the recording, and then you can easily go through and revisit the videos again and again if you want. Good evening, everyone. And it's really nice, very nice. I have a lot of people joining in. It's interesting. And let's just start in one more minute. Oh, I have a few messages. It is bad no one can see us on YouTube. Which form? Okay, don't worry, Lakshay. I am sharing the form again with you. You can have this form. It's on chat. Please make sure you update your attendance on this. So in the beginning of the session, for some time, I'll be floating this form again and again. Those who are just joining, they can fill up this form. However, during the session, there'll be a lot of discussion. So I would want you to keep the chat abuzz, keep dropping your messages to me. And in fact, if there is something that you want to type in detail, also I'll be keeping the pace so balanced that you can type your longer messages also. And I would want to keep reading your messages because they are important for me. As it is, as I said, it is not a session where I'm delivering a lecture. It's a session where I'm interacting with all of you. So please do not just keep this on and keep listening, because if you keep just waiting for me to speak something, skills, there is no general definition to it, right? So it's you who are going to tell me, sir, I'm looking to focus on this kind of skill in my personality. So I'll probably talk a little more about that. Then someone else says, what on to the other side? Like already Vivek has raised a question about communication skills, English speaking, not communication, English speaking rather. And then I have Manveer already talking about AI. So definitely we are going to discuss these skills. And let me just ask you, how many of you are using an iOS operating system right now? Very nice. Yeah. So those who are using Android or Windows, you'll have to type Android and Windows on chat as it is already being done. So that's great. So I have two users using iOS. I have Android being used by many of them. Windows also. Oh, I have, very nice. I have Ubuntu users also, Linux. Very nice. Too good. So according to you, I mean, as a user, those who are using Android, how many of you have tested, or rather, how many of you have tried your hand at iOS? The Android users, how many of you have tried your hand at iOS? Never? Okay. Some have not. Very good. And how many iOS users are still using Windows onto the laptops or computers that they are using? Oh, Kali Linux also. Wow. So Charanjit Singh is here. He's using Kali Linux. Former iOS user, currently Android. Very nice, Ishan. Okay. So, why am I talking about these things to you? It's a very simple thing. My idea of talking about these things is fairly simple for you to help you understand that, um, what we are going to discuss or what we are, uh, about to discuss over here. It's prima facie about our current generation life skills. And when we talk about current generation life skills, there is a lot that we can talk about and we can keep talking continuously about it, right? So Parmeet is saying, looks like Charanjit is ethical hacker. Oh, could be. I'm okay with that. It's a very growing field, and I am very happy if someone is looking forward to work in that because I believe the world is not, there's not one part of the world which is not being touched by some or the other part of technology. Am I right if I say that? What do you guys think? There is no part of the world which is left untouched by some kind of technology. I had a very interesting question. Let me just search on to that. It said that I get irritated. Yeah, just a second. There's this interesting question. Gaurav has written that. Sir, I get easily irritated at work place because of reluctant people. What do I do? I work in the education industry. So, Gaurav, that's a very nice question. And in fact, it has to have a good answer from my side. So, I definitely don't want to be, answering it right away, but I have your answer in coming slides. So, we'll be discussing on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening, all of you. Are you ready to discuss current generation life skills with me today? Give me a yes on chat and then let's begin. Great. I like the way you're, hitting onto my chat. I see it buzzing continuously. Yes, 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 yes. Let's begin. Yes. And that brings me to, yes. So that brings me to life skills. And why am I talking about life skills today? Why? Because these are those skills that are not useful in one place, but every place that we are going to go to, right? So let us start talking about the current generation. If I have to ask you to give me a definition of the current generation, what kind of a definition would you give me? Maybe in one or two lines. Gen Z, okay, someone already gave me. I'm not talking about human generation, I'm talking about generic generations that's happening, or rather the generation that we all are living into. We are, I mean, I would consider myself as a millennial living in Gen Z, the 5G era. Yes, I was born with landlines, and probably I'm living with the smartest phones that are available on the face of the earth. Sudden changes. AI era. In the modern era, generation takes place in manipulation of time. Modern era, entering the AI world, isolated, digital, depending on ideologies. Very nice. Digital, okay. Can we add certain more things to this? Less patience. Thank you, Mahalakshmi Kumari, for that answer. Yes. Who don't know to understand someone's feeling, which is right. I don't deny that. Futuristic, very true. Introverts, many of them saw the advancement of internet. Yes, I did. Diverse thinking levels, very true. Intellectual, kind of. Don't want to help others. Okay. Selfish. Well, more than selfish, can we call them self-obsessed? The current population around the world is self-obsessed or too self-engrossed, dependent on AI tech era. less interaction with the physical world, no focus, digitalization. So whatever you are writing on the chat right now, can I sum up and tell me if I'm completely right or partially right, or maybe, somewhat right in saying this, that can I say this entire generation is hyper informed? I'm not using the word over informed. I'm taking it to the next level. I'm saying it's hyper informed. You don't want information, but it will come to you. Somehow it will come to you. Am I right? Yeah, too much information. I don't want it, but it's still coming. And I don't need it, but it is still coming. Like I don't want to know how many people are going for holidays, but I'll still see it even if I don't want it, right? I want to come to office motivated every day, but in the morning when I open my social media, or probably even if I'm not opening my social media, there is an app on my phone that says the mountains are calling or the mountains are waiting, right? Too many ads, too many, um, what do you call them? Notifications on the phone, especially with the notifications used by some of the companies. They are so enticing, aren't they? Fake world. Well, I would not say fake world. I'd say virtual world. I'll say, rapidly evolving world. And yeah, when it's everything is evolving, there is some percentage of fake always in it. So agreed with that, Abhishek. Howsoever, when we talk about hyper information, there is one thing that is lacking in today's world. Do you agree with the picture on the screen? Is this lacking? Yeah, it's lacking. The calm, the composure, the peace, it's lacking, right? The calm, composure, the peace, you know, the happiness, it's somewhere gone. People are laughing, but they're not happy. People are smiling, but only for a photograph. How many of you see those people in a wedding or a party when they're about to click a photograph? They're like, but once the photo is clicked, they're like, yeah. But rarely you see someone smiling genuinely. And why is this happening? Because too much of information or the hyper information that we are seeing is causing us emotional distress and somewhat lowering our resilience. I saw some people wrote a very nice message into my answer. Uh, they said less patience because the resilience is less, right? I'll just give you a simple story about this. I'm not comparing the older generation with the new one. I'm comparing the newer generation to the new one. A child, till the time is not exposed to any gadgets, to any technology, smiles looking at his or her parents. Do you agree to that? Let's talk about a newborn, because I believe there are not many children who are not exposed to technology by the age of 4, right? And he or she would smile for no reason. You just look at them and they'll be like, am I right? Just look at them and you say, hi, how are you? And they'll start smiling. But today, if we see a child who's grown up above the age of maybe 3 or 4, to make them smile, you have to give them something. But to make them cry, you have to do nothing. That's how they'll cry. No patience, no resilience, no self-control. And why is this happening? Because they are not able to spend time with themselves. But as adults, when you come to that adulting age, people start talking about emotional intelligence, people start talking about resilience, people start talking about all these things, and they post stories on Instagram saying, I am really running out of resilience. How many of you have friends that post such stories? Or how many of you are one of those friends who post such stories? Tell me. Okay, rather let me ask you, how many of you are those who post Monday morning blues on every Monday, cursing the Monday? I mean, I don't believe that poor Monday has done something wrong. He just comes after a Sunday. Can't happen. You can't do anything about that. Yeah. So what happens is we try to vent out on social media, and what happens there? People try to don't take it seriously because nowadays it's just like a trend that people tend to make fun of other people's sorrows. Is that right? Roasting is the in thing about comedy today, right? So the easiest way of creating laughter is people roast. Am I right? What does this show? People who are crazy about roasting, people who are crazy about, finding laughter in other people's sorrow. It's just that, they lack emotional intelligence. I'm not talking about the people who make it like an act. Let's not blame the comedians only for it. Probably they are just acting or have created an act out of it. I'm talking about people who do it one to one or maybe socially in a gathering to people around, to their own friends, to their own, uh, so-called relatives or so-called, loved ones. When they roast them, it's not a good thing. Why? Because then you're showing or showcasing a lack of emotional intelligence. And today, if in the current generation you want to be regarded as a dependable or a good human being or someone who wants them to be talked about as a positive human being behind their back, because that's what branding is. Let me just be honest. If I talk about branding, the easiest definition of branding was given by Jeff Bezos. He said, branding is what people talk about you when you're not in the room, right? So if you want your branding to be positive, if you want your branding to be a case where people say good things about you, I would say just address their emotions first. That is the first life skill you require. Emotional intelligence. Why? Because when we are showcasing emotional intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing two things simultaneously. We are first creating self-awareness. I know myself. I know how am I going to react in situations, and I also know how I can control reactions or responses of people around me with my behavior. The best example, right? And let me just tell you, it is, yeah, Gagan, thank you so much for bringing that word on. Empathy, I was about to say it is the empathy in a human being that actually showcases his or her human intelligence or emotional intelligence. And let me just give you a very good example. The way you talk to the other person is not you showing empathy, but the way you receive what is being spoken to you by another person, not caring about your emotions, and you're still trying to hold that conversation to an outcome is the best display of empathy. Okay. If your conversations end in a quarrel, both the parties lack emotional intelligence. But if one person in that conversation is smart enough to turn a fighting argument into a conversation that leads to an outcome, that person showcased emotional intelligence. and that would always be regarded as a brand in you. Second, to manage your emotion or to show intelligence in your emotions, you need to know how to manage your stress. And how do you manage your stress? It's very simple. What is the reason that we come into stress, or what is the reason you get angry most of the time? Well, I'm not going to wait for answers because there could be many reasons when we are unable to manage things, when people don't meet our expectation, relationships, this, that, etc., etc., etc. The easiest thing to trigger you out of your comfort or your smile is not do things the way you are expecting. Isn't that the easiest thing to trigger someone's anger? See, financial pressure, I'll tell you one thing. Financial pressure, um, um, overthinking, and all these things, financial pressure and all, they are external reasons. I'm talking about internal reasons for now, reasons which are within you, not around you. I'm not talking about any reason around you. Overthinking is one, yes. Expectation is the second, right? And the third, please understand and listen to me very carefully, is inferiority complex. Thinking I am not good enough. That is another reason that triggers anger in people, right? So, what do you do? Well, to manage that stress, the first thing that you do is one, let me just tell you, and let me help you out with this. You have to practice this thing. And I promise you, if you are practicing this thing for 21 days, you will see changes in yourself. One, do not expect anything, even out of your own self, before you have started doing something. That's the easiest thing. I'll give you a very simple thing to start with. How many of you wake up early in the morning or want to wake up early in the morning? Okay. So those who want to wake up early in the morning, what do we do? We put up maybe maximum 5 alarms or 6 alarms every day, right? How many of you have those 5, 6 alarms after 15 minutes? Those who want to wake up early, I'm asking them for this one. You have those kinds of alarm? Yeah, good. Keep snoozing, keep sleeping, keep snoozing, keep sleeping. That's what happens, right? But, but I'll give you a very simple strategy on this, which I apply. And trust me, this is one of the practices that keeps my stress levels low. Start pampering yourself. Start pampering yourself. Very simple. You pamper yourself when you do something good, when you're feeling good, right? Only then you can pamper yourself. The day you're feeling bad, you can't pamper yourself. You can spoil yourself. Okay. So in order to pamper yourself, you need to feel good. And in order to feel good, you need to feel like an achiever. Yes. Am I going the right track? Are we all on the same page? Yeah, great. So what do? Simple as that. Something that I have resolved. I am very bad. I call myself a diesel engine. Why? Because waking me up in the morning is a tough job. But once I'm up and once I'm warm, oh, you can make me run a marathon. That's what I am. So what did I do? Uh, I started practicing this a few years ago. After I started, or rather, I extended my family. I had to wake up early in the morning because there were some complications within my family, or rather my better half, that she was unable to wake up early in the morning or leave the bed due to her physical condition. So, what did I start doing? I started this habit of finding time to pamper myself. And what was early in the morning, wake up, talk to my own self, and for that, I needed to have silence in my house. So, how do I get silence? I used to wake up, I used to, you know, give a bottle of milk to my kid, keep sleeping. I have no one awake in the house. I'm the only one. I take a cup of coffee or a tea and I pamper myself. I talk to myself every day. I plan my day in the morning. And believe me, in 21 days, I started believing and I started remembering a lot more, right? Well, ma'am, if you're not sleeping till 1 a.m., I am not asking you to sleep for 8 hours straight. I am saying out of 24 hours, you should be sleeping 8 hours. Because to balance your hormonal, challenges, sleep is the only way to reset your body. So no compromise on sleep, please. That's something I would not ever counter, and no doctor in the world will counter that. Half of your regular, you know, small daily life physical issues can be resolved by just sleeping well, right? So it said 7.5 to 8 hours. I say 8.2 hours, right? In 24 hours, you need to sleep. And you don't need it at a stretch also. So recent researchers have shown that it's not required to be at stretch. So you might sleep for 4 hours two times, but a good 4 hour sleep once, good 4 hour sleep second, you're done, you're ready, you're charged for 24 hours. You can go for the next hours very smoothly then. And if you're sleeping well, you wake up with a purpose. So start defining your purpose. That is the first step of emotional intelligence. I address my challenges. I look at them and I say, I know you are there and I'm going to work on you. So pampering yourself does not mean spoiling yourself. It means telling yourself you are with your own self. You are there with yourself. You are going to work on it. You know what? The biggest problem in today's world when it comes to emotions is there is no one to tell us it's okay. I am there for you, right? So self-talk, as Vineet has already written it, is the best pampering that you can have, right? Well, I see Anubhav writing a very nice message. So time is limited, and in that time, one has to do studies and many other things along with the job. I am not denying that, sir. I have completed my PhD in my working career itself, so I can very well understand. But then there are certain days, that is the other part of pampering I'm coming to. There are certain days you need a break. Take it. Don't delay your breaks, right? So work hard for 6 days. Nobody is telling you not to work hard for 6 days. But the seventh day, don't even work a small bit. Wait, relax, calm down. Your body needs rest, your mind needs rest. And a stressed mind cannot be productive. And a productive mind will never be stressed. Okay? So please make sure that you are not stressed. You're giving yourself ample time. You're being happy. You're being relaxed. And happy does not mean you're laughing like ha 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 ha. No, that's not being happy. But right. But the thing is, we should be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and smile. As Ishan has already quoted Warren Buffett saying, if you want the best advice, look at yourself in the mirror. But if you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not able to smile, the advice that is coming to you will not be that effective. Okay. Um, Shubham has written a very nice thing, and Shubham, you should not apologize because they are facts. But we don't, live once. We live every day. We die once, right? So we are living every day, and let's put life into that every day that we are talking, right? I can very well understand two kids and MBA on top of it. Yes, that could be stressful, but the best thing I would say is please, you can't tell the kids what to do. They are kids, they will do what they want to do. You will have to start managing your self-controlled tasks like studies, your sleep, and your nutrition very carefully. Okay? If your body is feeling nourished, if your body is feeling rested, it can take up any challenge in the world without you blowing your head for a single moment. And I can promise you on that. Okay? So please make sure that you're doing that. And the third thing that I would want to bring you in the current generation, where we are talking about all these things, is empathy that we have already been discussing. Connecting with others and understanding their perspective. I am not asking you to listen to me because I am practicing something. I am asking you to create your ways which can lead you to self awareness. Automatically, your stress will be managed and you will start understanding other people. The first and the only thing that you need to develop is self awareness for yourself. Okay. The only developmental phase is self awareness. The other two are outcome phases. And I promise it works because I'm not talking about things that are written in a book. I'm talking about things for which people have been talking around the world now. And honestly speaking, I'm not a book person. I'm a person who believes in researchers. I'm a person who believes in a lot of, real life examples, right? That's true, Vinny. Thank you so much for that wonderful message. The world will remain the same with or without you. So simply love yourself, right? And that's true. Self talk, chill, follow up, inner instinct, empathy, help the needy, and remain awake and observant. Very true. I'm very happy, Vineet, with those thoughts. Um, Arushi, your question is absolutely right. Sometimes there are times where you are burning yourself out. That is where I'm saying that's where the rest should come in. Because at that time, your mind is over functioning because of lack of maybe sleep, maybe food, maybe fear of losing or failing. It is taking you someplace. So take a break. Don't do anything at that time, right? Just take a break. You need to sleep, you need to rest, you need to eat, you need to feel good, something that makes you smile. Do it. It's okay. It's not a crime to smile to yourself, right? Let me be very honest. So, I've made this PPT out of AI. I have not worked on this PPT myself. The only content that I gave to AI made the PowerPoint presentation. So what did I do? I kept delaying this presentation for about, I think, 4 5 days. But today morning, I came and I sat with this PPT and I did it, streamlined everything, deleted the extra content that I did not want on my slides. Everything was done. But for the past 2 3 days, I had so many things happening at the same time in the office hours that I was not able to think about my presentation. But what did I do? I kept writing. You guys, I'm sure you are aware that we can write messages to our own self on WhatsApp. Are you aware? Yeah. So that's my diary. Okay. That's my personal diary. What do I do? I simply write whenever there is something that has to come to my mind. I that comes to my mind. I write it to myself and I message it to myself. Easy, right? So I kept writing the heading of the workshop and I kept sending points to myself. And in the evening yesterday, I somehow collated those points on a document And then I gave it to AI. I said, rewrite this in the format of a presentation that I can make. It rewrote the entire points and beautifully it wrote. And then I took it, brought it to the office next day, today morning, came here, made the PPT, removed all the unrequired, unwanted content that would make, um, slides uh, crowded. And I made the PPT. PPT was done 2 minutes. Second was setting up the entire presentation. Yes, I made it with Gamma AI. Rohit, thank you so much. You can see it on the footer of the page. I know because it's a free version, it does not let me remove the branding. So what did I do? I just did two things to make the first thing that I just talked about happen. Critical thinking and problem solving. To make your emotional intelligence useful, you need to have the left side of your brain functioning equally. Why? Because your brain is divided in two halves. This side thinks creative, emotions, love, passion, hatred, overthink, everything happens from this side. But this side is more critical, analytical, number oriented, problem solver. Your personal, mental detective is here onto the left side. All the analytical problems, cognitions happens on this side. And this side is all artistic, play, love, passion, care, um, empathy, sympathy, everything, this side. So what did I do? I said, hey, start working. We need to find a way. And it did. And I did not have to dedicate any time to it. It simply did. Why? Because it was very simple for me to, do this. Why? Because on the back of my mind, it was already there. I have to give this workshop today. I have to do the presentation at 6 o'clock today. It was running in my mind. My brain consciously was telling me. And there were people around me who were constantly asking me, are you ready with the workshop? You have your first workshop coming. Oh, wow, we are waiting for it. Do let us know what are you going to discuss about it. So my left side started thinking of it in a background application, or rather a background process, right? So in the background, it was already done, and I was constantly typing whenever something came to my mind onto the WhatsApp chat, and then I just collated it. Was it analytical thinking? Yes, while I was thinking, pointers, analytical. And then simply, did I problem solve? It automatically happened. I didn't have to do anything special for that. It automatically happened, right? So when you're critically thinking, it automatically happens to lead to solutions and you become a problem solver, right? But then, did I use technology? Hell yes, I did. And I am not going to be saying that I'm ashamed of it. I am proud. Why? Because it makes my task easy. But am I dependent on it? Mm, maybe not, right? Why am I not dependent on it? I'll tell you why. So you remember someone asked me, would you share the presentation PPT with us after the session? I said yes, but you know what? I am the presentation. So I'm not dependent on it. I'm taking some help from it. But if this PPT was not there, I can still promise you I'll be able to engage you with my facial expressions, my movements, and the way I speak. I have that much of confidence in myself. Even on a webinar, I can at least retain most of you by the way I speak, right? So you have to understand that if you want something to be helped, your brain starts thinking about solutions. But the only thing that you need to do to your brain is tell him the right prompt because it's just like AI. It needs a nice prompt. But what do we tell our brain? Oh my God, this is so tough. How am I going to do it? I don't know. And the brain says, yes, it's very tough. You can't do this. But I don't tell my brain that. I tell my brain very simply, find me a way out. Do whatever you want to. And it does it for me. It just needs a prompt. Similarly, in today's era, there is no option in front of anyone to say, I don't like to use much technology. Why? It's everywhere. Wherever you can go, technology is before you, available. You'll have to know how to do it. People say, people who use AI are not thinking too much. Well, let me just give you a nice update. To make AI work properly also, you have to think and tell the AI what you want him or her to do. I don't know if AI is male or a female, and I don't want to be gender biased, but at least you should know what to tell the AI, right? So, digital literacy today does not mean that I should be an avid coder. I should be, an outstanding ethical hacker. I cannot be one because probably I have not got that format of formal education. But anything that I want to do with technology as a non-technical person, at least I should be able to find a way out for that. And that is called digital literacy in today's world, right? That's what you call digital literacy. I can operate a phone and not just picking up a phone and putting down a phone or sending a WhatsApp message. I can make my grocery list in that. I can make a video in that, and all these things. So at least 60-70% of my phone I can use as a personal digital assistant, PDA, right? I can use that as at a rate of 40-50%. I am a digitally literate person. And I'm sure Mr. Raja was saying I'm an AI trainer, would agree to this, right? That if you can use your technological gadgets at about an efficiency rate of 40 to 50% in today's world without formal technical training, you are a digital literate, right? You can't be thinking now, even if you're 70 or 80 years old, you can't be thinking now that I'll go to the bank, I'll withdraw money, and only then it works. No, it's easy. ATMs were level one of digital literacy for you. It was tough, agreed. Scanning a QR code is not that tough. Tap and pay is not that tough, right? But the only thing is, for older people, it looks tough because they think it is going to make them lose their money, which we are not ready to do. And we are not asking them to lose their money. We will tell them how to not lose money first. And that's how we stop misinformation. We'll tell them don't scan any QR code left, right, and center. No, don't click any link here and there. No, that's what we are there for. That's what the younger generation is always there for telling the older ones, hey, times are changing. You'll have to upgrade, right? Um, I'll just give you a small example. A few days ago, I was meeting a family friend, and they have a son who's about 15 years old. His father told him, I want to buy a new laptop. Tell me which one I should buy. 15 years old kid. Only a suggestion was asked. Now this kid came up with a proper presentation to us with all the things about a laptop and all AI based. Why? Because he was learning AI and he was learning about computers in his school. He took that as a challenge from the father and he brought such nice information to convince that his father should buy a MacBook if he had certain usage, a Windows laptop if he has certain usage, and also told that your environment of information technology or IT around you should be compatible with your machine. And I was really impressed by that child, not surprised. Why? Because I would be surprised if the person would have said, Papa, you should buy Lenovo. Ranveer Kapoor is doing the ad of Lenovo these days. I would be surprised by that because that was the attitude probably when we were kids. We used to see, oh, this celebrity is endorsing the brand, let's go and buy it. Right? This generation does not care. Am I right? Does this generation care who's endorsing the brand? Like, no, no, no. They just pick it up the way they want it to be. So, yes, they have a lot more information than what we have. They have a lot more information than we have, right? Um, Let me just ask you, how many of you have ever thought that MRF actually made bats? How many of you ever thought MRF actually made bats, cricket bats? Well, I know today you people will say no, but as kids, those who wanted to play cricket would go to a sports shop and they used to go and say, I need an MRF bat, right? As a kid, we all have done that. But this generation, do they go and say, I need a C8 bat? No, no, no. They don't go and do that. They don't go and do that, right? So you have to understand this generation is far more informed, and it is the use that we can do with these younger generations or amalgamating the technology with the older ones. We can make them leaders of this digital literacy campaign that we need to run in our country or around us. Yes, of course, they will ask for Kookaburra bats, they'll ask for SF bats, they will ask for some Imperials Greenlands, SG bats, because they know they are the brands, right? Right? And what is the impact of AI? The impact of AI is nothing but why people around the world are saying that AI is making us less creative, because those people probably defined creativity as hard work creation. If is not done by people today, they don't think it is creative. How so? AI is something that this generation will live with for the next 100 years, and you can't let it go. Gone are the days of hard work. The days here are for smarter ones, right? So we have to understand smarter generation is always going to survive, and it is the future. So these kids, they don't go and play with plastic balls. How many of you have played gully cricket with plastic balls and those clothes smashers in your house? Have you? Yes, we all have. But this generation, will they play? Nah. They're like, give me a fiber bat, no, if this is a plastic ball or a tennis ball, right? And if they're going to the field, before they go to the field, they need the entire cricket kit. They say, no, no, I need my own pads, I need my own helmet. Even if they don't play for the entire season, if they have joined a club, the first thing they need is a kit, right? A complete batting kit. They're very alert, but the problem with them is, as older generation, we need to tell them that if you have a kit, You need to use it in the right manner also. Don't donate it to people around you. You go and play. You take my bat. You take my pads. No, it's yours. Then you play it. You show me how to play it. Right? That is something that we need to tell them. We need to tell them the real life application of things, and they need to tell us how easy, um, you know, it is for us to learn technology and learn it every day. I am sure many of us, even today, Lakshya do not know the difference between a cork and a leather ball. But I mean, people who play regularly, they will definitely know. Yes, you are absolutely right, Shubham. People don't know about data privacy, and you're talking about data privacy. The older generation does not even, in India, address privacy as an important thing. Do you agree to that? The older generation in India, or rather you know, the generation prior to us also, our parents, rather my parents, I'm already almost 40. For them, privacy is like, why is everybody sitting in their own room? Let's sit together. But our kids, they want to sit in their own room with door closed, right? And as a generation of millennials, I see myself jumping like from one room to another, sometimes in my parents' room, sometimes in my kids' room, and I'm trying to bring both of them together. That is what is happening, right? So yes, doors locked, everything is there, and we are like the millennials are like monkeys. But over the period of time, this is going to be the very in thing, and privacy is being addressed very formally and thoroughly these days. And out of that, data privacy is something that we, as a generation of millennials, might not realize how important it is, but the coming generation knows it more, and they would definitely create awareness about it. So it's better we understand how data privacy makes a lot of difference, because probably if someone is talking about data privacy, then there are some anti-socials who are also talking about invading privacy, right? So if there is at one point being talked about security, there'll be someone who will also talk about breaching security. Isn't that the world has always been doing? So we need to not just inform our older generation, even the younger ones, we need to tell them about data privacy. We need to tell them about misinformation. We need to tell them about how to stay secure on the internet, because we, at the moment, are the productive generation. And the problem with the productive generation is it has to handle the previous productive generation also, and the next productive generation also. So the previous one needs to be handled, the next one needs to be guided. And yes, we need to do this for them. So this is one big important skill that you require today, and that is digital literacy. Because without digital literacy, it is difficult for people to connect with each other, and it is difficult for us to connect with the next generation, because they believe more in digitalization or digitization than we do. But what is a timeless skill that will never change? Effective communication and personal branding. Never will change. And I promise you, if the world is just taken over by AI completely, even then, AI cannot change one human tendency, and that is talking about people. How many of you can want to bet on this with me that even if we make humans totally AI powered, they will just forget how to talk about people behind their backs, or they'll stop gossiping completely, 100%. I can bet they will never, because that's human tendency, right? People will always talk about people, people will always talk about machines, people will always talk about other things around them. That's human nature. And that's what conversations are all about. Isn't that true? I can't go and keep talking about myself to people. I need to talk about others. But what is the effective way of communication? Now, many of you were talking to me about English. इंग्लिश में हम कैसे बात करें, हाउ डू वी टॉक इन इंग्लिश, इंग्लिश में बात करेंगे तो हमारा शायद इंप्रेशन अच्छा पड़ेगा। लेकिन और मैं अभी तक इंग्लिश में इसलिए बात कर रहा था क्योंकि मैं आपको ये बताना चाहता था कि सिर्फ इंग्लिश में बात करता हुआ इंसान ही अच्छा नहीं लगता। हम जिस लैंग्वेज में बात करें, अगर हम अच्छे से बात कर रहे हैं, हम उतने ही अच्छे लगते हैं। देर इज नो ग्लोबल कोड ऑफ लैंग्वेज। भाषा का कोई वैश्विक कोड नहीं है। ठीक है। और अब आते हैं एक और इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट पर। हमारी 100% कम्युनिकेशन में से हमारे शब्दों का जो परसेंटेज है वो सिर्फ 7%। दैट मीन्स आउट ऑफ 100% कम्युनिकेशन दैट वी डू इन अ डे, we only use 7% of it through words. 93% has no use of words in it. और ये मैं नहीं बोलता, ये रिसर्च बोलती है जो इंटरनेट पे पब्लिश्ड है। यू कैन गो एंड सर्च इट। तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि बिना शब्द के हम 93% कम्युनिकेशन करते हैं पूरे दिन में। कैसे? तो 55% कम्युनिकेशन जो हम करते हैं वो सिर्फ हमारे एक्सप्रेशंस। The way we stand, the way we look at people, the way we shake hands, the way we smile, the way we frown, all the body language. 55%. आप देखिए, आप सारे स्टूडेंट्स रहे हैं, एंड आई हैव सम प्रिंसिपल्स, टीचर्स, वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स हियर। बिना बात किए या बिना आवाज मुंह से निकाले कितने लोगों ने क्लास में ढेर सारी बातें की हैं। How many of you have had a lot of conversations with each other without even uttering a single word? I'm sure everybody has. I just uh, can't forget one of the things. So I was a fresher. मेरी पहली जॉब थी और पहली जॉब में पहली टीम मीटिंग थी। तो मुझे उस दिन बॉडी लैंग्वेज की ना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस समझ में आई। कैसे? तो हुआ क्या कि हम सारे बैठे थे और 1.5 घंटे से हमारी जो बॉसेस थे वो बात कर रहे थे, बता रहे थे ये होगा वो होगा, हम ऐसे कंपनी को बढ़ाना चाहते हैं। और उतने में दरवाजा खुला। दरवाजे के तरफ मेरी नजर गई। बाहर मैंने क्या देखा? एक ट्रे सजी हुई है जिसमें पेपर कप्स में चाय है और साथ में समोसे हैं। और मेरे सामने मेरे रिपोर्टिंग मैनेजर बैठे हैं। आई लुक्ड आउटसाइड, आई लुक्ड एट हिम, and I started looking down. Then I again looked at him, and he looked at me and he's like, मैंने वापस दरवाजे की तरफ देखा है ना ऐसे। तो उतने में इशारा हो गया कि भाई चाय समोसे आ रहे। एंड उसी वक्त उसके और मेरे चेहरे पर एक्सप्रेशन खुशी के, एंड हमें देखकर बाकी सबके चेहरे पर एक्सप्रेशन खुशी के कि वाह, चाय समोसे आने लगे हैं शायद, तभी ये दो लोग खुश दिख रहे हैं। राइट? So communication is not limited to language, and believe me, the easiest language spoken in the world is body language. It's global, almost everywhere. Same gestures, postures, attitude signs, everything are taken. But yes, but yes, language सीखना जरूरी भी है, because लिखने के वक्त तो हम expressions नहीं लिख सकते ना, वहां तो शब्द ही लिखने। Right? So I'll give you 4 ways that you can learn any language in the world. 4 ways. And let me be very honest with these four ways. They are scientifically proven. The first is listening. Listen. जब आप कोई लैंग्वेज सीखना चाहते हैं सबसे पहले उसे सुनना शुरू कीजिए. There is no replacement to phonetics training in the world. किसी भी लैंग्वेज के स्वर व्यंजन और आवाजें सीखे बिना आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Even with English for that matter, you need to have phonetics training. You need to know phonics. Okay. Second, once you start listening, try to speak, copy, imitate what you are listening to. Right? I'll be very honest. मैं एक बहुत ही मिडिल क्लास नॉर्मल फैमिली से आता हूँ. माय डैड वाज अ बिजनेसमैन, मॉम अ होम. टीवी में सीरियल्स नहीं देखता था. आई यूज्ड टू वॉच WWE. एनीवन हु हैज सीन वॉच WWE? कोई है जिसने यहाँ WWE देखा हुआ है? या गुड. लॉन्ग टाइम अगो. But one thing about WWE that I used to love is the way they used to deliver dialogues on the mic. Outstanding, man. Outstanding. Especially The Rock. Yeah, someone just wrote Rock. The way they used to deliver the dialogues. Outstanding. So what did I do? I started imitating them. And then I went to movies and I started imitating the dialogues. And slowly and gradually, I started realizing कि जो मेरी इंग्लिश टीचर क्लास में बोलती थी वो मुझे ज्यादा समझ में आ रहा है. जब वो मैचिंग वर्ड्स मूवीज के डायलॉग से और यू नो इन चीजों से होते थे, WWE की स्क्रिप्ट से. Why? Because my brain was used to listening to those things carefully, so it was recognizing when the same word was spoken. So my listening was having an effect on my learning. And then I had to practice speaking it. Second step. Third step is reading. Read beyond requirement. Read for leisure. आप कोई लैंग्वेज सीखना चाहते हो उसे सुनिए, बोलने की कोशिश कीजिए और पढ़ने की कोशिश कीजिए. Start reading in that language. You want to learn English? I'll give you the simplest way. Please take a book that is a story book or a novel or a self-help book. Maybe you want to start reading an Ikigai, or you want to start reading The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. You want to start reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You want to read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Read any of such books or a novel, The Alchemist, yeah. Think and Grow Rich, whatever kind of books that you want to read. But when you're reading it, please read it loud so you can listen to your own self. Read it loud so that you can listen to your own self. And while you're reading, please read it like a book or a story that you're telling it to someone else. Your brain will notice, your brain will remember the words, the phonetics, and everything that you're reading. And the last one for that matter, writing. Once your brain is used to with the vocabulary, it will automatically start writing it in the right manner. Okay. I I'm a CBSE student. My schooling was in CBSE board. I still can recite the poem "आ रही रवि की सवारी" by Ramdhari Singh Dinkar. It was taught to me in, I think, in 4th standard or 5th standard. Very simple. Why? Because I used to recite that poem and listen to my own self, and I used to say, "Wah, What a nice pronunciation I've got. So that has created a memory in my mind which is everlasting. Oh, ma'am, ma'am, sir, I don't know. It's written Principal Kiran Kesar. I will do that sometime else, वरना यहाँ पर और extra time उसमें चला जाएगा. I'll definitely post a video on my social media. You can definitely follow me on my social media. And I will definitely recite the entire poem for you. But what for now, yes, I can do a few lines. आ रही रवि की सवारी, नभ किरण का रथ सजा है, कली कुसुम से पथ सजा है, बादलों के अनुचरों ने स्वर्ण की पोशाक है धारी, आ रही रवि की सवारी. So it starts with this way. So yeah, um, the way you can master a language is practice. It's like a sport. It's nothing else but a sport. So when you are a sports person, you practice the sport so many times that it becomes a habit. Similar is with language. Practice it as you want to do it. And the way you see yourself improving will also boost your confidence that irrespective of the place of the person sitting in front of you, you will be confident about yourself. जब आपने अपनी लैंग्वेज जर्नी को खुद कॉन्शियसली जिया है तो उसको कोई भी चैलेंज नहीं कर सकता. आपका कॉन्फिडेंस उसमें कोई नहीं हिला सकता. एंड आई प्रॉमिस यू ऑन दैट. राइट. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट ब्रांडिंग. सो मैंने ब्रांडिंग का एक छोटा सा नमूना आपको भी पेश किया. आई टॉक्ड अबाउट ऑफलाइन ब्रांडिंग. व्हाट पीपल टॉक बिहाइंड योर बैक इज योर ब्रांडिंग. एब्सोल्युटली राइट. ये तो टाइमलेस है. The late great Ratan Tata is still not here and people still talk about him. Right? आज की एक न्यूज थी. Ratan Tata has left a fortune of 500 crores to someone and they are not from the Tata family at all. Not even connected to the Tata family. He was one of the person who joined Ratan Tata and merged his company into the Tata group. And Mr. Ratan Tata has left him a 500 crore fortune for his loyalty. Mr. Tata is not here, but his brand still lives on. Right? And especially for that gentleman, जिसके लिए वो 500 करोड़ की विल करके गए हैं, उनके लिए तो वो डेफिनेटली बोल सकता है जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी. Right? That's branding. That's nothing else but branding for that matter. Oh, you're from Tata. Okay, Sanjeev, thank you so much for telling us that. So it's something that you have to understand. Your branding is what speaks behind your back. That is offline. But you have to tell people to speak behind your back by doing something that they start recognizing you. And for that, we are going to go online. We are going to go to LinkedIn. We are going to go to Instagram. We are going to go to Facebook and we are going to create a brand for ourselves. Right? So someone was asking for my LinkedIn profile. Let me give you my LinkedIn profile. There you go. That's my LinkedIn profile address. www.linkedin.com/in/Sachin Sidhra. You can follow me. You can connect with me as you do, as you wish. I would love to have you as a part of my network. And I would love to show you how I put myself on LinkedIn to people. It's very simple. Mahatma Gandhi said a nice thing: be the change that you want the world to be. I would say be the brand that you want the world to recognize yourself to be. Act is not the term. Live that way is the term. Okay. So people who act, they act only in front of camera, but people who live, their brand talks unconditionally. Right? Let's take an example of that matter to for um, a man like Warren Buffett. not very much in the news always, not into controversies, but is known as the best investment advisor or investment portfolio creator of the world. The man has a branding for himself. But does he not brand him? Oh, you want my LinkedIn address again? Okay, let me just drop it again for you. He does brand himself on LinkedIn. And how? He has a photography agency. He signed up with a talent agency. The talent agency makes him do photo shoots. The talent agency also tells him what to, post on media. He does that. He's making a brand for himself, and everyone does. Do you know Joe Biden recently signed with a talent agency? Why? Because he believed that as the president of United States, he did certain things that were not right, and his image is not that good in the social circuits. So he wants to improve it. Brand always speaks in your absence. So make sure that you're making a good brand for yourself. Have fun, but have fun in a very clean way so that your brand speaks in a very positive way for yourself. Okay. Your positive branding is going to make a huge effect on you. And today's generation is all about online branding. Let me just tell you, the easiest way, one can search you on the internet is just Google your name. But the problem is when we Google our name on our link on our phones or on our computer, it shows us on the first page. Go and Google your name on an unknown machine. You will then actually see where you feature on the internet search list. Yeah, you can do that on incognito mode as well. Thank you so much, Isha, for bringing me to that. It shows you the real picture. And it's not that you should be always on the first page of the Google search history, but if you're not on the first three, you're probably not visible to the world. And you need to be. Why? Because it's always said, there is a nice saying in Hindi about marketing, no? जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, right? बिल्कुल. So if you're not visible, people will not buy into your brand. People will not have confidence in you. People will not believe that, you are the guy or girl for them. They will not believe you are the person that you should be hired. You are not, they'll not believe that you are their problem solver. They will only believe you are one of those people that can be looked at it as an option, right? Now, this branding thing works timelessly and it will make its effect timelessly in times to come also. Why? A simple thing. How many of you are fans of watching movies? May I ask? How many movie fans here or movie fanatics here? Very nice. Great. So, whatever the movie may be, there is a way of introducing the main characters of the movie, right? There's always a way to introduce the main character of the movie. They're not just shown, you know, in a normal manner. There's some hype, there is some, way that their characteristics, their personality is brought to your notice very clearly, right? So Vineet is saying about Matrix. How many of you waited? I mean, Vineet would probably be one of them, but there'll be some people who would say, I waited for Keanu Reeves to come back as Neo in the last Matrix and kill that bad guy. I waited. I'll not be dishonest on that. I did. I did wait. And I watched that movie in the theater. However, people had moved on from the Matrix era, but I did go and watch it. Why? Because I bought that character. I bought that brand. And every millennial almost did, if I'm not saying wrong. Every millennial bought into the brand of uh, Neo, right? So you have to understand it's the way you create your brand, people will buy into that brand, and that is what is called confidence in your personality shown by others. They start buying your brand. They are not buying your services, they are not buying you, they are buying your brand. In the US elections, what happened? Donald Trump won. But how? People bought his brand, one thing. But his branding doubled the moment Elon Musk stepped into his side. Yes, did it? When Elon Musk openly walked into his stage and said, yes, I am with Trump. I believe in Trump. It all changed. Why? Because Elon Musk has a brand that people believe in. And when he says, I believe in Trump, the world will believe in Trump, right? So that's the power of branding. And how do you brand yourself? See, branding on LinkedIn is not just that write your articles, you post your photographs, you put your certificates over there, everything. It's also the kind of network that is with you and what the network says about you. So those who are there already on LinkedIn, I would want you to please start updating your skill set on LinkedIn and send requests to your network. Please endorse me for these skill sets, XYZ, whatever skill sets. Ask for endorsements, ask for recommendations. That will increase the power of your branding by many folds because the person who will endorse you or the person who will write your recommendation, his branding will get added to yours, right? And yes, as Shubham is rightly saying, showing your true personality is what we are going to always have a lasting brand with. I can't be artificial and say my brand will last for the ever. No, it will not last forever. The day I break character, my brand ends. Period. But if I'm genuine, if I'm just what I am and I'm showing it to people, this is what I am, people will love it and people will look forward to be with you because they'll start believing in your brand. They'll know you're not acting, you're not fake, you're just as you are, right? And that makes a huge, huge difference in branding. So, what kind of branding do you need to do? You need to be consistent about the way you portray yourself to people. One thing. Second, you need to be consistent about, um, you know, your ethics, integrity, honesty. These are timeless branding elements. Timeless. Yes, absolutely, Ishan. You gave an example of Warren Buffett since we were discussing about him. I can give you example of any person who stands tall, irrespective of what they have earned or not, will always be people who of reputation. Their repute will be higher than their net worth. In fact, their net worth is based on their reputation. And that's true. What do we know Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam for? Do we know him for his huge net worth and money? No. We know him for a few things. One, service to the society, discussing about education to the young ones. We know him for his knowledge. We know him for his spirit to serve the nation in the form of creating a security cover for the nation called missiles. And he did not make a missile to wage a war. He said, I want a missile for India so that India can feel secured. And boy, oh boy, did he do things right? Yes, he did. Then he became the president. And in every speech of him as a president, he talked about educating the country, educating the youth, making them learned, making them, smarter. Until the day he died, his last was also with interaction during the interaction with students where he collapsed on stage from where he was rushed to the hospital. That is branding for you in an unadulterated format by a man who was never handled by an agency. He had his own brand. A room full of books and a small suitcase full of clothes. That's it. But a man with immense branding and no haters in the world. I have never found someone who said, I hate Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. No, never found someone like that. Right? So your branding is very important. Why? Because the way you communicate would affect people around you. The way you speak and the way you portray your communication on the internet might make people fans of yours, but your brand is what makes the recall. The branding is your recall. There should be someone sitting somewhere in a room or in a, gathering and say, yeah, I know this one guy who can do this thing right. And that person, if that name is yours, that is your brand. And believe me, your branding lives even after you don't in the world. And let's not take examples of these famous people. Let's look at your own family. There'll be some people in your family, even today when they are talked about, and if they are not with you, you always say that, yeah, whenever this situation arises, no, this person was mind blowing. Everybody dependent on him or her, right? For someone, it would be a distant relative. For someone, it would be their father, their grandfather, their grandmom, their mother, or maybe some sister or brother as well. If they are in physicality with you, good. If they are not there, still you would say the same thing. If they are there in this world, you would go and even tell them in their face. But if they are not there, you would just say the sentence and you would look into the ceiling for some time as if imagining or recalling what they used to do with a smile on your face. That's their branding for you, nothing else. And this is a timeless set of life skill. This will never change. Your communication skills, effectiveness, and your branding effectiveness. These are two timeless skills that will never change even for the coming 1000 plus years. People will always talk about communication. People will always talk about branding. And the way that branding and communication is being done, that will be updated. Right? Of course, that will be updated, no? And why that will be updated? Because the mode of communications will change, the mode of branding will change, but the process will always remain there. And therefore, in today's world, you cannot compromise on branding at all. You cannot compromise on communication at all. So before I move to the next part of the life skill, let me just remind you. I told you what are the 4 steps of knowing any language or mastering any language or practicing any language. Listen, speak, read, and write. Four ways. LSRW. Listen, speak, read, and write. Right? And branding, just be yourself, be visible, talk to people, and ask people to share their credibility with you if they believe in your brand. Right? If there was not a couple there to believe into the brand of a Sachin Tendulkar, we wouldn't have a Sachin Tendulkar. So make yourself useful to others as well. Share your brand with people. Don't say, no, my brand is just mine. I'll not share it. I'm closed. No, be open. Collaborate. Your branding increases with collaboration. So this is the current generation trend. Collaboration. Right? Keep yourself clean, simple, collaborate with people around you, and your branding will increase. And so will the branding of other people around you. Right? So that's what it is important right now for all of us in the effective communication part. Now let's come to one very important part, that is adaptability and future proofing yourself. Do you think you can be as rigid as your predecessors or your elders in the world? No, we can't be, right? We cannot be. And why can't we be? Because we are in a world which right now is termed with a very nice terminology, that is VUCA. Can someone give me the full form of VUCA? Yeah, you can Google it. VUCA. It was also there in the announcement and the digitals that were posted. Just Google VUCA. You will find it on your chat GPTs and your Googles what VUCA means. Absolutely. Thank you, Isha. Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. The world around us is that way, isn't that? It's volatile, very unstable. You do one thing and the entire world shakes. Uncertain. We were once, a few years ago, we were talking about what? We were talking about uh, aeronautics, space, etc., etc. And suddenly, everything takes a backseat. AI comes into play. It says, I'm here. You gotta talk about me, right? Is it complex? Of course, yes. Because everybody has their own agenda. So complexity is always there. And is it ambiguous? That means something which is not very clear. True. We are still discovering the world, aren't we? So in this VUCA world, one has to be adaptive and they need to be a lifelong learner. I'll give you a very pro tip in terms of portraying your brand. People believe in brands of learners more than experts today. People don't like experts. People like learners. People don't like those who, can say that I lead the show. People like the others, those who say, I want to be a part of the show. I'll take responsibility for the show. So lifelong learner, continuously expand and upgrade your knowledge, which is going to be a very important part. Why? Because you may think you know everything, but life always has new questions. How many of you till 2019 actually thought the entire world could be locked into their houses? Did you think that way? Something will happen and the entire world will be locked into their houses. But it happened, didn't that? The pandemic. the lockdowns. It happened. We all saw it. And what happened with that? Many people who were not ready to accept technology accepted technology. Didn't that happen at that time as well? Right? Then people who in the market used to say, yeah, these Paytm and all, they will fail. Cash is king. Now you can go even to a roadside vendor and they will have a phone pay or a Paytm QR code. And they'll say, nahi, nahi, not cash. You can pay by phone. कोई बात नहीं आप फोन से पे कर दीजिए फोन पे कर दो फोन पे right this is what is happening these days. I have a very you know humble vegetable seller outside my housing society. So when I go out and I'm very bad with carrying cash. So he always tells me, हाँ साहब आप फोन पे कर दो आप फोन पे ही करेंगे. I laugh at him and I say, क्या करेंगे? He said, अरे फोन पे. So he said, I told him, I said, फोन पे ऐप का नाम है आप पैसा फोन पे देंगे ऐसा बोला करो. And he just says, नहीं नहीं आप फोन पे कीजिए. So he always tells me the same thing, and we have a laugh over it nowadays. So, what is the point of this? Has that man been adaptable? Yes. And that is why he's feeding his family today. Why? Because he has adapted that people are not going to give me cash and I'll have to manage the way my customer wants me to be. That's what adaptability is all about. Adaptability is nothing but learning how to survive in an environment. That's adaptability, right? And you need to diversify your skills. You can't be saying, okay, I am enough skilled, I am done. I am not going to upskill myself at all. And this is not just for people working in the IT. I'm talking about everyone. And I might be sounding a little rude while I say my next sentence. But today, if you're not diversifying your skills, you are almost walking to a dead end path of being called obsolete. And you may ask this to anyone, they will agree to it. You can be replaced anytime. Anytime is not the word I would say, Vineet. I'll change your sentence by saying you you can be replaced on the first chance that people get. Because talent is not less in the world around you. It's just that you're surviving because you are relevant. And you have to make yourself stay relevant till the time you want to survive. Right? Updated, relevant. I won't even say the word updated, I'll say relevant. Relevant means required, meaningful for that moment. I am relevant, I'm here. I'm not relevant, I won't be there. Right? So skill diversification is very much important. Don't think that, oh, I'm just a salesperson, so I should know how to sell products to people in person. You should know how to sell online. You should know how to sell offline. You should know how to sell even without being present in the place personally. Right? So relevance is something that we have to establish for ourselves. The next part is show growth mindset. Let's understand this. Uh, we all studied from books, right? We all have studied from books, printed books in our school days. Is there anyone who says, no, no, I studied from PPTs? Books, great. But even in that time when we were in schools, our parents used to say, we only used to read textbooks. You people don't know from where are getting guides, everyone. Right? We had those refresher books. We had, those MBDs and Kundra Babas for social science and RD Sharma's for extra studies of mathematics, practice test of mathematics, right? Goldens, yeah. तो हम जब ये सारी किताबें पढ़ते थे, हमारे पेरेंट्स क्या बोलते थे? पता नहीं तुम लोग क्या पढ़ते रहते हो, हमने तो टेक्स्ट बुक से पढ़ा है ना? But the same thing will happen to us with the next generation. The next generation has gone on to internet. They have gone on to tabs. They have gone on to laptops. They have gone on to everything that we thought was a luxury. For them, it has become a necessity. Right? जैसे हमारे पेरेंट्स के लिए गाइड्स वाज लग्जरी, उनको ऐसा लगता था कि गाइड उसको जरूरत पड़ती है जो टेक्स्ट बुक से नहीं पढ़ सकता। हमारे लिए वो नेसेसिटी थी कि अरे यार ये लो ना, पढ़ो, बात खत्म करो। राइट? लेकिन हमारी आने वाली जनरेशन, उनके लिए, हमारे लिए लैपटॉप्स, ये सारी चीजें, हम आज भी इसको ऐसे बोलते हैं, यार देखा मेरा ये नया लैपटॉप है, अच्छा है ना? बट हमारे बच्चों के लिए इट्स अ नेसेसिटी, पापा ये तो होना ही चाहिए। इसके आगे की बात करेंगे। राइट? सो दैट इज समवेयर वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, वी नीड टू हैव दैट ग्रोथ माइंडसेट in terms of accepting things around you, the changes. And second, there'll be setbacks when times change. So you need to be the one who says, okay, it's okay to fail for me. I need to get back up. I need to get back up. Right? See, Manveer is already writing. I read from YouTube. Very nice. I also learn a lot from YouTube. I follow channels like TED and TEDx, and I listen to people speaking so beautifully about things that not many books in the world would talk about. I do watch videos from YouTube and I take a lot of learnings from there. But I bring it to the class and I tell my students, come on, go do this on YouTube rather than just watching those cringe content on YouTube. Refine your content, right? Podcasts are very important. They're very helpful nowadays. True that, Rohit. Podcast really makes people listen to a conversation and they remember most of it. Why? Because it is not being spoken as a book, it is being spoken as a conversation, and the brain remembers conversation more than books. Right? So it is something that it is appealing, and that is why people are following it. And when this is the mindset of someone that okay, things are changing, I'll change myself. Let's talk about these famous uh, tutors that have become YouTube sensations. Awadh Ojha, or rather Khan sir, or whosoever they may be. I'm not very regular followers of them, but physics wala, yeah, Divya Kriti, all these people, they realize that it's time to change how I teach students. It's time to change how I reach out to students. So today, what happens? They have a mindset that they're portraying for the next generation, and people are getting inspired by them, right? So that is something which we need to have, adaptability and future proofing. It is very important for all of us, and it will always be important for all of us, right? Now, these are the skills that we have been discussing, or rather we have been talking. I'll now open the house for questions. You may ask your questions regarding anything that we have discussed today. I'll be open to answer your questions and your you know doubts, queries. Now we can go one by one back to the each and every skill. We can start with emotional intelligence. We can then come to the second skill that we talked about, which is um, critical thinking and problem solving. Then we can come to the next skill, which was more like digital learning and literacy. And then we can come to communication, personal branding, and all these places. You can ask me question regarding anything. And by the time you guys are picking up your questions, let me just give you a feedback form to fill up so that we can, go with the feedback form. Please do not forget to fill this feedback form because this is the last, uh, you know, thing that you need to do. And based on this, we'll be creating your certificates also. So please make sure you're filling up this feedback form. I would give you this form right away. Just a second. Yeah, so I have this feedback form right here. I'm going to give it to you. And please make sure you're filling up this feedback form for us. This is very important. You'll get the certificates on your email. The e-certificates will be emailed to you, so don't worry. You'll get the certificates on your email. We are not going to your personal emails that are there with us. It is going to be there for you. In the e-format, we are going to send the certificate to you. The link is over there. If you want, I'll paste the link again. Please make sure you are filling up this feedback form. Surya, it's okay. You can fill up the feedback form. We'll add your name to the attendance also. Don't worry on that. Since the attendance form was open for a short duration, which was supposed to be in the beginning of the class, you can use the feedback form and you can fill up the feedback form. We'll take up your attendance from that side. Don't worry. Please make sure you're filling the feedback form, everyone. And while you're filling the feedback form, if you have any question, you can put it in the Q&A section for me or on the chat. I'll be reading both the parts and I'll be willing to answer your questions. Okay. So Simran is done with the feedback form. Very nice. Thank you so much. So I would just want to ask you, guys, was it useful for you to put your 1.5 hour with me here today? And were we able to discuss few things that we were, discussing about? And was it overall something that you would really look forward to beyond your regular course-based learning? Okay, thank you so much, Arushi. The reason why I'm asking this is because I want all of us to keep joining each other for such workshops in times to come. There'll be different topics. In fact, your feedback form would have a place where you can give us some suggestive topics that you would want to be a part of or you would want to attend the workshops for. So please make sure if there is a suggestion for you, um, प्लीज अपनी सजेशन हमें जरूर दें. हमें आपकी suggestions का definitely you know इंतजार रहेगा. And if there is a suggestion about when we should conduct uh, the workshop, आप वो भी दे सकते हैं. Where is the feedback form? Oh, I'm so sorry, Harshit, you missed the feedback form. It's right here under your last chat. Please check the chat, it's there. Thank you so much, Hardik. That was so nice of you. Um, Tanya is done with the feedback form. Thank you so much, Tanya. Vikas is done. Manveer is done. Very well. I think we are going at a very good pace, and I think most of the examples जो मैंने आज cover किए, वो examples भी आपके साथ relate किए होंगे. So I believe कि examples के साथ आप लोगों को समझने में आसानी रही होगी. एक चीज मैं जरूर पूछना चाहूंगा आप लोगों से कि इसमें से कौन सी चीज है जो आप इमीडिएटली अप्लाई करना शुरू करेंगे? What thing would you like to immediately apply out of these life skills to update your life skill set? Wake up early? Oh, nice. Emotional intelligence, relevance, self-pampering, learning new languages. Good. Very nice. Self-care, LSRW for all. True that. Critical thinking. Stop expecting. Of course, yes. Self-talk, getting knowledge from YouTube, learning till we breathe. Very nice. Learning something new. Always good. Self-caring, being emotionally strong. I would say don't be emotionally strong, be emotionally balanced. It's all about balance. You don't need to be strong. You should be able to drop a tear where you need to drop a tear, and you should always be able to smile where you have to be smiling. Great. Very nice. Focus on self grooming. Very important. Packaging always matters, no? Updating LinkedIn profile and work on communication. Self love. Very nice. Very nice. So if anybody has missed the feedback form, it's right there for you people. Please go ahead, fill the feedback form. Okay. Confidence. Okay, I have a question which I'd like to answer. How has our growing emotional intelligence turned challenges into lessons and empowered us to become leaders of tomorrow? What are your thoughts? Of course, yes. If your emotional intelligence is so balanced that it can keep you in a thoughtful mind, even in the worst of situations, it will help you learn from your challenges. Why? Because when you're emotionally balanced, you don't believe you failed. You either win or you learn. Why? Because when you fail, the first thing that triggers in your mind is, oh, I failed. That's so bad. मेरी बेइज्जती हो गई मैं फेल हुआ तो। लेकिन जब आपका इमोशंस बैलेंस्ड होता है ना, तो आपकी इमोशंस आपका दिमाग बंद नहीं करती। आपकी इमोशंस तुरंत आपको चैनलाइज करती है कि अब ये सोच तू फेल क्यों हुआ। तो चैलेंजेस को लेसन्स में बदल देते हैं और लेसन्स विक्ट्रीज को क्रिएट कर देती हैं। एंड जब हम मुश्किलों से जीत कर आगे बढ़ते हैं ना, तब हम लीडर बनते हैं। लीडर वो नहीं है जो कभी नहीं हारा, लीडर वो है जो 100 बार हार के भी 101वीं बार आकर खड़ा हुआ है कि चलो दोबारा ट्राई करते हैं। राइट। सो मुश्किलों से जीत कर ही आप अच्छे लीडर बनते हो। तब तक तो आप सिर्फ कोशिश कर रहे हो। राइट। सो आई सेंड द फीडबैक फॉर्म अगेन टू यू। uh, it's right here. I'm so sorry, Neha, I just saw your message. It's right here under your message. There are two question marks followed by my feedback form. Experience of all sorts is good. I would say there is nothing called bad experience. Why? Because bad experience is learning and good experience is memory, right? So please make sure that this good experience is always kept with you as a good memory, and bad experience is always kept as learning. How frequent will such sessions be organized? I would say you tell us, how frequently do you want us to organize such sessions? We would love to hear it from you. You guys can tell us how frequently do you want such sessions? Maybe you want it once a week beyond your regular learning, maybe a monthly, maybe 15 days. We would really want to know it from you. Okay, monthly at least once. So we'll do it once a month for you. Not a big issue. Weekly once, monthly once. So don't worry, we'll organize it on different topics. So you will keep getting information whichever you want to join in. You can join in because believe me, let me just share it with you. Um, we want to organize these sessions uh, on different topics by different people. Yes, it can be on Sundays also, Sachin. If you guys are comfortable, we will organize it on Sundays, not every time in the evenings. We would probably use some evenings, we will use some, Sundays. And it's, well, Parmeet, it is not compulsory to attend, but it is always an add-on. Why? Because let me just tell you, I was about to tell you this thing. Uh, we are going to do this for your core subjects also. That is industry based learning on your core subjects. We are going to do these on life skills and communication skills. We are going to do this for aptitude and competitive exams preparations also. And we are also going to invite some industry professionals to come and interact with you, right? So we are going to do these four different themes of workshops with you, and we are going to ask you to be a part of it. You'll get the invitations and information from our side. Whichever session you believe you want to be a part of, please make sure that you guys are being a part of it. Don't worry, don't worry. I see a lot of people, saying Sunday is difficult for me. It's okay. I believe that, you know, some of us, we are not very, uh, available on Sundays because of family commitments. But definitely, we'll be planning it on different days, not exactly on every Sunday. We'll have it on in evening sometimes. Sometimes we might have it on a Saturday afternoon. So don't worry about that. We'll have a really thoughtful approach about when we can organize the session. Thank you so much for those beautiful feedbacks that are there. Those who have not filled up the feedback forms, please make sure you're filling it up because it's really important for us to capture the feedbacks. And this form is going to be open for tonight. We're going to close it tomorrow morning. So don't worry. You can keep filling the feedback forms. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And I hope this was a really good evening for all of you interacting with me. For me, it was wonderful. I would say thank you so much for making this session so lively for me. I, sitting here alone, did not realize that I'm sitting alone. Why? Because your chats kept me busy and kept me reading all of it. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead. Enjoy yourself. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. If you're done with the feedback form, you may please, if you are done with any other questions you don't have, you may please drop off. Otherwise, you may please fill up the feedback form and confirm once on the chat, and then you may drop off the call. We will close the call exactly in another 10 minutes for you. Okay. So till then, the call is open. If you want to ask any question, doubts, you may go ahead with that also, or else if you're done with the feedback form, you don't have anything to ask, no questions, you may drop off and continue with your evening. Thank you so much. Done. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Done, Hardik. I believe you guys have put some suggestion for me on the forms also. I'll definitely look at it, and I would really want to look onto our next session keenly on that, on those feedbacks. Great, great, great. Arushi has raised a hand, I believe. Can I ask, Arushi, if you have a question? Yeah, I think there's one more hand. Let me view how many hands are there. Mm, yeah, I think it's Arushi only. Sameer also now. So I believe if there are questions, you can write a question in the question and Q&A section. I'll take the questions from there, or you can type it on chat. I'll be really looking forward to answer those questions. So Shubham still has a question, says, how does empathy help students resolve conflicts and contribute to the society? And how can we create our own brand when society rejects us and highlights our failures? It's okay. I mean, society, there'll be people who will be negatively branding you, but at least you are being talked about. So when you do good things and you showcase that you're doing good, people start talking positive also. So एक बहुत अच्छी कहावत है जो मैं शुभम आपके साथ हिंदी में शेयर करना चाहूंगा कि राय के बारे में एक बहुत अच्छी चीज जानी जाती है कि वक्त के साथ ये अक्सर बदल जाती है। ठीक है। सो परसेप्शंस एंड हिंदी में जैसे हम राय कहते हैं, अक्सर लोगों की बदल जाती है कुछ समय बाद। तो आप अपना काम कीजिए, आपकी राय, लोगों की राय आपके बारे में बदलती रहती है। लेट्स कीप डूइंग व्हाट वी डू कंसिस्टेंटली, एंड फिर वो राय परमानेंट हो जाती है जब हमारी कंसिस्टेंसी उसके साथ जुड़ जाती है। राइट। एंड हाउ इज empathy going to help students resolve conflicts? बहुत सिंपल है। If I understand what the other person is going through, it will resolve my conflicts with that person. And when conflicts are not there, society is going to be a better place, right? So it is always going to be there for you in terms of answering and, in terms of sharing yourself or feedbacks with others. My name is Dr. Sachin Sidhra, Manjot. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'm very happy for all of you to be a part of this workshop. Thank you. Arushi, if you're still here, you may please ask your question on the chat. You've raised a hand. Thank you, Hardik. Thank you, Ritik. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Shreya. I will definitely try to do that, Arushi. I'll add motivation things to the motivation part to the next masterclass. Okay, I have another question by Sachin. Sir, I'm working in manufacturing department and the timing change day by day. Can you tell me how we can manage our timings for study? Then I'll give you, Sachin, a very simple thing that's called daily planning. So, जिस हिसाब से आपका अगला दिन आने वाला है, उस हिसाब से अपना अपने नंबर ऑफ आवर्स आपको प्लान करने पड़ेंगे। ठीक है। तो जितने आपके वर्किंग आवर्स है उसमें उसके बाद आपके स्लीपिंग आवर्स रिड्यूस करके देन यू हैव टू स्टार्ट फाइंडिंग टाइम फॉर स्टडीज। एंड इट्स गुड इफ यू मेक योर माइंड अडेप्टेबल। अलग अलग टाइम पर स्टडी करेंगे, पर हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत स्टार्टिंग में आपको चैलेंज आएगा, बट इफ यू डू दैट कंसिस्टेंटली फॉर 7 days, 8वें दिन से यू विल सी दैट योर माइंड इज रेडी टू स्टडी द वे यू द टाइम यू वांटेड टू स्टडी। तो 7 दिन की चैलेंज होगी, लेकिन 8वें दिन इट विल ऑल स्टार्ट गेटिंग रिजॉल्व। दैट्स समथिंग दैट आई कैन गारंटी यू ऑन दैट। Any movie or web series? Uh, I don't know in what sense are you asking me for movies and web series, but if you really want to improve your communication, I would refer Suits, Suits. It's available on Netflix. It's a law drama, तो उसमें जो conversation है वो बहुत अच्छी है, लॉजिकल कॉन्वर्जेशन है, तो आप वो देख सकते हैं। मूवी आई वुड सर्टेनली सजेस्ट शर्लॉक होम्स बाय रॉबर्ट डाउनी जूनियर। इट्स अ नाइस सस्पेंस मूवी, तो आप वो देख सकते हैं, एंड इसमें कॉन्वर्जेशन भी बहुत अच्छी है। हाउ कैन वी गेट बेटर हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपीरियंस एज इन लर्निंग ऑन द जॉब? ट्राई न्यू थिंग्स, डोंट डू द सेम थिंग एवरी डे, ask for new work, ask for new challenges. That's how you learn on the job. Suryavanshi, okay. The Amitabh Bachchan one that you're talking, Vivek? Sir, online study really helps in shaping one's lives. Of course, study is what is required. Online, offline, anything does not matter too much in it. It's just that if you are studying and if you're willing to study, it matters. Online just makes it easier for getting the best sources of studying. That was Muskan. Muskan asked me this question. So Muskan, let me tell you, आप जहां भी बैठे हैं वहां से अगर आपकी पढ़ाई एक अच्छे सोर्स से हो रही है, तो ऑफ कोर्स ऑनलाइन इज गोइंग टू बी बेनिफिशियल फॉर यू, नो? सो ऑनलाइन स्टडी रियली हेल्प्स इन शेपिंग वंस लाइफ। आई थिंक द आंसर इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी यस, बिकॉज उसमें ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन का मेरे लिए मुद्दा नहीं है, मेरे लिए मुद्दा स्टडी का है। अगर मुझे कहीं से अच्छी शिक्षा प्राप्त हो रही है और उसके लिए चाहे मैं ऑनलाइन जा रहा हूँ, तो उसमें फर्क क्या है या हर्ज क्या है ना? तो मेरे हिसाब से इट्स ऑलवेज अ गुड थिंग, एंड यू शुड ऑलवेज prefer just finding a way to study. Yeah, 12th fail is 12वीं fail is also a good movie. It's a very nice movie. In fact, real life movie है वो, तो आप देख सकते हैं, बायोपिक है. Sir, if there is a person who don't want to give you the work and don't tell you what to do, कोई बात नहीं. Keep asking. Let them start giving you the least important task. जब आप उसको भी अच्छे से करना शुरू करेंगे, तो धीरे धीरे उनका भरोसा आप में बनेगा. And they'll start giving you the important ones. See, consistency, अगर वो आपको कंसिस्टेंटली ना बोल रहा है, तो आप उसको कंसिस्टेंटली पोक करिए ना, कि वो आपको काम दे. कुछ तो देगा. सामने वाले से थोड़ा ज्यादा पेशेंस आप रखिए. Right, you'll find it, things are working for you, and they always do. All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the evening. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great evening ahead. Enjoy yourselves. I think movies की काफी discussion हमने कर ली, right? Thank you so much, everyone. Take care and enjoy yourselves. And do let us know, even through the other modes of communication. You can definitely follow me on LinkedIn. And yes, bye bye. Take care. Good evening, everyone. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.